Shalom and welcome back to Repairs of the Breach with Ohadah by Avi Ezer. I want to first start off by giving all honor, all glory, and praises to Yehovah Sebaot, Yahkadosh Yisrael, Kol Kavod Aleka. I'm so thankful to be alive. I feel so good, so happy, and it's the joy and the happiness that has inspired me to come and want to give a little message, I guess. May the words of my lips and the murmurs of my heart be acceptable before the great King. As we have just recently come out of Yom Kippur, very remorseful spirit, and we have atoned for the things that we've done wrong and acknowledged, hopefully, everything that we can think of before the Creator, maker of heaven and earth. Now, as we are speedily approaching Chag Sukkot, I'm feeling joyful, I'm feeling happy, and even if you are not, observing these days, this message is for you. Again, I would have posted a talk for Yom Kippur. I have one made actually. I just am not going to post it because it's past that time, and as you may know, observant for these, as we prepare ourselves to observe these high holy days, I put away technology and things of that nature, so I wasn't able to do it in a timely manner, and a lot was going on, but we're going to get this one out. Just now, 2 days from Yom Kippur, and I want to know, how is your fast? How are you feeling? How is your ruach, your spirit? I hope that you feel rejuvenated, and I hope you feel fueled and energized. That's what I want to talk about today. As you may know, Yom Kippur, we atone for our sins, and we come before the great King in sincerity, asking for forgiveness because we've all done wrong. But as I sat and contemplated, just soaking up the day and afterwards, and just these past few days. And even prior to Yom Kippur, I've been having some conversations with my family, and I was realizing that it's the most important thing is with the atoning, and because Yah's commanding us to do that, so I'm in no way trying to take away from that, but the change is what I want to talk about today, making those changes and making those strives and those efforts, because now that we are out of Yom Kippur, Yehovah is watching us. He's seeing, our actions, and He knows what our actions are going to be. But again, He gives us that free will to really strive to be better people. And so I've realized, and I've come to just embrace the idea of nurturing my righteousness. And I think that's so important as we move forward, because an apology is one thing, but showing that we really are sincere is by changing and not turning back to our ways. One thing I have striven to abstain from heavy is social media, and I know I talk about that a lot. Maybe for me, it's just something that I noticed that has thrown my mindset off. Maybe you can relate to that, but I was just actually probably 2 hours ago, I had refreshed my memory and I went on my Facebook because it's been the holy days, so I haven't been really on social media at all, and I was catching up on my notifications, and I scrolled through my feed and I was like, gosh, there's so much that is on here, and I'm kind of glad I took a break and I could go further. But I say that because as we are nurturing our righteousness and as we are striving, we've made these strong convictions to change and become better people, so that we don't go, if Yah bless us, to see another Yom Kippur. We're not asking for the same things. So as we strive to make changes, it's so important for us to make those changes in our personal lives. And for me, one big thing is not doing worldly things, and I, for a large percentage, don't involve myself in a lot of worldly things, but I'm not saying I'm totally away from it. But even just re-looking over things and assessing my life to see what else can I let go so that I can nurture my righteousness. And that's really what I want to talk to you about. As I said, the change and the apology is just about nurturing our righteousness. And I feel so happy to share this small message with you, because I am feeling really good. The Spirit of Yah is on me, and I can feel it. And I think that's the prayer for all of us. When you really feel that rejuvenation and that fuel, you know that, or you can even feel that Yah is looking upon you and helping you to make those changes. I was talking with, as I said, family members and even myself. And I remember saying, and I'm going to share with you, as we go through these holy days, and these are like portals to ascension realms. You know, they allow you to become your greater higher self. They're like, as I said in my latest podcast, they're like those speed bumps. They let you go a little further. And as we really put our foot forward and make these changes, each holiday gives us fuel. And so, as you may know, we go through Yom Kippur, we observe Chag Sukkot for 7 days, and then Shmini Atzeret, the last eighth day, which is the solemn day. And after that, we have roughly about 4 to 5 months of the only holy day being Shabbat. So we are now going to be tested as we move out of this holy month of Itanim, and not just yet, not to rush it, because we have yet to come to Chag Sukkot, but I'm realizing Yehovah gives us, when we sincerely go before Him and we correctly approach these holy days with the right spirit, the right mindset, and we really observe them and there's something in it for us to gain. These holy days aren't for Yehovah. He doesn't need them. They're for us. And so when we properly approach these holy days, we gain something out of it. We gain a lot out of it. And I'm realizing that Yah gives us fuel. He's filling up our tanks. When we properly approach it, He's going to fill up our tanks, and He's going to give us enough gas to make it to the next holy day. And so these 4 or 5 months, we can't run out of our gas too fast. And that's kind of what I was saying to myself. Like, I can't run out of this gas. It's on me to take the right route. If I go the wrong way and I take a longer route, then I might run out of gas, and I'm going to be begging for more. And so I want to put that out there for you to kind of just keep that in mind. Don't run out of your fuel, because Yehovah has given us fuel. When we do these holy days right, we are given fuel. We're given energy to take us forward until we get more fuel for the next holy days. As we know, we have Pesach that comes after Aviv, which again, that comes about 4 to 5 months after Shmini Atzeret, and so on. So this cycle that we continuously go through is all about managing. How do you manage your fuel that Yah gives us when we do these holidays right? And managing that is by really assessing your righteousness. One thing I want to talk to you about is just these small things that we have to really assess in moving forward with the changes that we want to make. When you go forward, we're going to be tested. We're going to be tested because we said what we did on Yom Kippur was utter vows. And when we're confessing, we're utter vows. We're saying, I did this and I really don't want to do it. That's what we're really saying. So the tests are going to come. But it's these small things you're going to have to do. A good example that I know fuels my righteousness is when I wake up, I sing. I start to sing songs to Yehovah. I mean, we have our congregational songs, and just our chants, and that's the first thing I try to do. I smile, and I give a big Todah Yehovah for waking me up. I greet Him with so much happiness, and that's how I've been starting my days off, and I'm going to continue to do that. I've been doing that for years, but just putting more intentionality on it. That's a way to nurture your righteousness, because you're invoking Yehovah into your day. A really important thing is to submerge yourself. You have to submerge yourself and program yourself in the truth and Torah. If you want to be a righteous individual, the Torah is going to keep you safe. As it says in the book of Joshua, to study on Yah's law day and night. That means that it has to be on our mind, and it's possible to go about your secular life and also keep the law on your mind. That's what a servant of Yah does. That's the life that we live. We have to be living a life where we can utter prayers in our head, and as we're going about our day, it's not lifting your hands always, but it's just uttering those prayers and keeping one law on your mind. I love to remember certain verses, and it's all about living it as well, but just uttering it, just keep it in remembrance. A good example or a good thing to remember is, as it said in the Torah, when Moshe was commanding the children of Israel about concerning the commandments, he says, only take heed to yourself, to carefully watch yourself, to take heed so that you don't depart from what you've seen. So, we don't forget, we don't lose sight of what we uttered on Yom Kippur. We don't lose sight of the vows that we made to ourselves between us and Yah. We don't lose sight, and we don't depart from our ways. So with that being said, when you go throughout life and you encounter with other human beings, I'm realizing, and this applies to me. I'm sharing ways in which I nurture my righteousness, because that's what this is all about. You have to create an environment that nurtures your righteousness. If you don't, you're going to run out of fuel, and that's what you don't want. So, when you're interacting with people, watch yourself. It's so easy for us, as I was telling my little brothers one time, it's so easy for us to point our finger and say, look what they're doing bad, look at them. But how easy is it for you to turn that finger on yourself and watch you, to take yourself as out of who you are and look at what you're doing, look at your actions. So that's one thing you can really be careful to do, as we are commanded. Watch ourselves diligently. Be careful what we do, so that in times of adversity or heated situations, we don't lose our character, because it's so easy to do that, but we don't want our flesh to overtake us anymore. So take your time. It's a big thing that I'm implementing in my life. It's taking my time watching what I do, watching what I do as if I'm looking at myself. And that's going to really help to, it's an old saying, think twice before you do something, think twice before you say something. And a lot of times we forget to think twice before we do things. So that's a really good way to watch yourself and make sure you don't do things outside of your character. As I was speaking of submerging yourself in Torah, it's so essential to read. Oh my goodness, during the pandemic, I would say that when the pandemic, we had no choice but to be in our home. So it pushed me into doing things that I was doing, but again, with now intentionality. I would be at work, and again, working from home. And just when I'm taking a call with a customer and we had a silent moment, I put them on hold and I'm waiting for a message from my manager, I had my Torah in my desk, and I would pull my Torah out while I had a little time. Like I would, anytime, any break I had, I was submerging myself in the Torah, and I would just open it. And at that time, that was me fulfilling reading the whole Torah, or the Tanakh, the Torah, the Nevi'im, and the Ketuvim. All that year was my goal to do that. And so I was just reading it every time I got. And oh my goodness, when you submerge yourself in the Word of Yah, when you really contemplate and you really indulge in it, it's going to safeguard you. Take it from me. It's going to safeguard you, and it's going to nurture your righteousness. When you wake up, open your book, read a Psalms, read something, remind yourself of the word of the Creator, so that you can go about your day with that on your mind. Because, it says a mind that stays on the Creator is at perfect peace, and it's so true. When we worry and concern ourselves with other things that are not in our control, we just have a life of misery. But when we put it all in the hands of Yah and we just trust in Him and have good thoughts about Him, you have a blessed life. Another thing, with reading Torah, read it in the afternoon, read it on your lunch break, and I love reading it at nighttime. That's like so healing before I go to bed. So these are just some things that helps to nurture righteousness that you can take from me, that I use to make sure I develop myself. And I put forth that foot towards righteousness, because unfortunately, a lot of times we count ourselves short. The Creator commands that we be righteous. So that means this is something He knows we're capable of doing. But a lot of us, we fear, maybe because the sins that we committed, or maybe because of what society portrays, we think righteousness is so far off, like it's something that has to happen 1,000 years from now. As Moshe said, when he was concerned with the law, this is not something that somebody has to go in space to look for, or under the earth, or in the deep seas. This is nigh unto you. It's in your very mouth and in you to do it. This is something that's innate. It's natural. So if the Creator's commanded that we be righteous, He wouldn't command us to do anything we couldn't do. So those are the things that we really want to do when we're trying to keep our word to ourselves and not fall prey to these traps laid. Another thing, I was reading the Tanakh last night, and I opened an old journal of mine, and I just so coincidentally, and there's no coincidence in this world ruled by Yah, but Yah guided me to pick up one of my journals from like 3 years ago, and it was during Yom Teruah. It was titled Yom Teruah, And I flipped through it and I got up to Yom Kippur. And I just assessed myself. I looked at the things I was asking for, and I assessed whether I'd overcame some of those or not. And then I seen some scriptures I had wrote out, and it was First Samuel 2. So I was like, let me just read this. And oh my goodness, like when I read that, I was like, Toda Yah for your guidance. Like you were so good to guide me to a journal that would then cause me to open up a book that I needed at that time. And if you just go and refresh yourself with old journals and just reading portions of the Torah and asking Yah for your guidance, that chapter for me spoke so much to me. And I want to encourage you as a young person, listening to this, there's nothing wrong with being a humble person. Humility is going to bring you closer to righteousness. Don't let people make you think it's weak. And don't let people who want to attack your humility to see if they can get a reaction from you, don't let that happen. Keep Yah close to you, and it's going to be easy for you to not react. We don't want to make it about people. We want to make it about ourselves, but you can't allow anyone to make you do anything. It's all you. It's all you. Like I always say, it's all your fault. It's all my fault. What happens in our life. And I say that on a level in which the things you can control. So watch how you react to things. And as I was reading in 2 Samuel's, I was just reviewing, the story of the history of Hannah and just how Samuel grew up in the house of Yah under the priest Eli, and just his innocence. I was speaking to my sisters about this today. His innocence, how the Creator was calling him, and he didn't even know. And as my sister interjected, she was like, "Yeah," and he wasn't even taught the word of Yah at that time. So he just was young and running and was like, "Here am I, you called me." And he didn't know the Creator was calling him. And the priest was like, "Go back and lay down. I didn't call you." So it happened about 3 times. And a man of Yah had already visited Eli. So at the 3rd time Samuel came and said, "You call me," he said, "It's Yehovah calling you." And he told him how to respond to the Creator. So I want to leave you with this. When I read that, I realized it may not happen exactly like that. But when the Creator calls you, how will you respond? How will you answer? And will you be able to discern that He is talking to you, that He's calling you? And Shemuel had a whole different portion, a beautiful portion. He was a well-known man, righteous in his ways. And he was a very humble, and you could see his innocence just in reading that story. So, stay pure, stay innocent, stay loving. And as I was reading the 2nd Samuel, was like, Yah is going to bless all those who are humble. Don't boast yourself too much and you can be proud of what you do and your achievement. But as Proverbs says, let not praise come from your mouth. Let it come from another person. Don't go around boasting and bigging yourself up. The Creator doesn't really like it. He loves humble individuals. So you want to stay humble. You want to remain humble. You want to be kind to people. You want to be loving to people. You want to do a lot of good deeds, like as much as you can. And as my father told me the other day, when you are helping people, do it with structure and order. And I would encourage you the same. So we are fastly approaching Sukkot. I'm so happy and so grateful to the Yehovah, to the Creator. He is so good to us to extend our lives and bless us to see life and to even have His breath of life within us. It's such a blessing. I pray to you an excellent feast, Chag Sameach. If you watch this during the Chag, and as we speedily approach Chag Sukkot, Chag Sameach L'kol, I'm just so happy, and I just want you to remember to nurture your righteousness. We just came out of Yom Kippur. That don't mean that we fake one day and we go back to what we're doing. No, really make changes in your life. How are you using things? How are you utilizing your time? What are you doing in your time? Again, submerge yourself in Torah. I'm telling you, as a young person, some may say age is not the yardstick to growth. And that may be true in some instances, but the Creator even commands young people to respect our fathers and mothers, because there's always going to be something that older people know that we don't know, and you have to be humble enough to admit that. I say that to say, continue to study the Torah. Study it. I don't care if you've been studying all your life. Continue to submerge yourself in it, because there's so many things us young people have to do when we're trying to establish our lives that may cause us to lose focus and lose sight of Yah, the Creator. And we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that, especially after acknowledging our sins and asking for forgiveness. We want to make sure we really do the right things to nurture our righteousness. That's what I want to put out there. You got to nurture your righteousness. You got to put yourself in an environment that nurtures your righteousness too. You can't keep yourself in environments that are programming evil. You got to program yourself in righteousness. If Torah is not programming you and righteous things are not programming you, something else is. And that's going to cause your fuel to run out before the next Yom Kippur. Yah gives us enough fuel. He gives us plenty. It's on us to invoke and manifest that righteous spirit in our lives. It's there. It's there. He lays it out for us. When he says he's going to forgive us, there's a lot that comes with that. There's blessings in that. And so you must put forth actions to keep that spirit activated. You got to keep that spirit activated. You got to keep that righteous motion going. Stay away from evil talk. Stay away from gossiping. Fix your judgments. Just small things, how you look at people, how you judge people. The moment you feel your old self trying to come back in about the way you feel negative about things, shut it up. Tell it, no, not today. No, I get to rule over this, the righteous. And the more you do that, the more dull, that lower you will become. And the more vibrant and lively will your higher self emerge. And you will have a glow and a smile upon you. And people will know that Yah's spirit is protecting you and guiding you. So nurture your righteousness in this season. Let's enjoy this feast. Let's give all praises to Yah and put him first. Remember, it's not about us. It's about him. Yah is good. Yah is great. Yah is highly to be praised. I'm sharing my happiness with you. Don't go to tearing down people's happiness. You go and you add to it. If you can't add to it, ask for some of it. And if you're too scared to ask for some of it, just ask Yah for it. Because it comes from Yah. It all does. Watch yourselves. Be diligent. Look at how you're doing things. And don't slip into those old patterns. That's what the Creator means when he says, turn away from your evil ways. It's small things like the rolling of the eye. That's the evil thing in the sight of Yah. Like when you roll your eye at someone because you're irritated, we got to understand the nature of the Creator. Some people think evil is, because I'm not a murderer, or because I don't do this and these horrendous acts, I'm not an evil person. Well, the Creator judges evil at his own level, and his thoughts are much higher. So be cognizant of that. They'll slip into those old habits. Be strong and of good courage. Be strong and of good courage to do all that is written in the Torah. Be strong. God didn't say fear to do right. He said there's nowhere in Torah that he said fear to do right. He only said reverence and fear him, your father and your mother. But everything else he said, fear not. Do that which is right in my sight. You can do it. The Creator says that we can do it and commands we do it. It's possible. So I want to leave that with you. I think I'm repeating myself, but it's so necessary that we nurture our righteousness. That's key. You got to nurture it. And if you don't know what that looks like, years ago I wrote out things that I know dwindle my light and things that I know brighten my light. And you got to write that out for yourself. You got to figure that out for yourself. And you have to throw away those things that dim your light and put forth those things that brighten it. And it's going to take time. You got to be patient with yourself. Got to be patient. Let's get through Chag Sukkot. Let's go through Shmini Atzeret. And, let's build up our righteousness and our spirits before Yehovah to show them that we didn't just fake it on Yom Kippur, that we really meant we're going to turn this around. This whole world could be righteous. You know that. So I hope that you will even help to spread this truth, help to spread this message by just giving it a like, commenting, answer my questions, asking me questions, share it on your social medias. I mean, this is for all humanity. Righteousness, we all should be dedicating ourselves to being righteous people. That's simply just being a good person with good intentions and a person full of good deeds and who has a pure heart and is a wholehearted person. With that being said, I want to leave you with that message, and I'm sending love, and I just give all praises to Yah for this joy and this blessed opportunity he gives all humanity. I pray that you continue to be the ones who restore these ancient paths, and we turn this world around by doing more righteous than we have done evil. All praises due to Yahweh. Shalom.